Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blind Gamer Plays. My name is Miss Daredevil.
This is Fear Beer.
Yeah, I'm Risk.
And today we are going to talk about the terrible Saga of Terrible Tanya. The Tanya of Terrible Saga? I don't know.
The Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Oh!
You were almost there.
I was nowhere close.
Well, you had Tanya, right?
Okay. I'm surprised they didn't call it Tanya the Terra. Or Terrible I'm done. I had a call the other day where the patient wanted to cancel his appointment with Terrible Terra. That's stuck in my head. That's all I got.
Yeah, just be happy. I was talking to one of the guys at work, and he's like, oh yeah, I love anime, blah, 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 blah. I've been watching Tanya the Tiara.
I mean, that's probably closer in all honesty.
I think Terrible Tanya is sort of close. It's still an accurate description, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could say that.
Okay.
Schadenfreude personified, or I can think of a few other names.
Anyway, so we apologize that we weren't around last week. We all kind of fell off the face of the earth. But we did watch episodes 1 through 4, or I watched the first 4 episodes. Somebody has already seen this, and somebody else decided to watch more than the first 4 episodes.
Well, I didn't until about 2 hours after you said you were going to start. Never did.
I didn't hear from you, and then I decided it was nap time.
It wouldn't have mattered. I wouldn't have been online anyway. I felt so crap. My head hurt so bad I was throwing up.
No, that was this week. I think last week.
Last week? I don't remember what last week was.
I think we lost him again.
Yeah, looks like it. Well, he'll show up again.
He'll show up again. Okay, so I watched the first 4 episodes of the Saga of Evil Tanya. Right? Did I get it right that time?
Do I need to send you a link?
No, but I should change it in the title. Hold on. Hold on, I gotta fix it.
Okay. The name of the show is The Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Tanya the Evil. Okay, I fixed it. I fixed it. It's okay.
Just like that.
I'm amused by this, just a little bit. So my first impression, should we wait for him? We could just talk.
Yeah, we can just kind of moobaroo.
Moobaroo?
Yeah. So are you liking this more or less than the other stuff?
I haven't decided. I have not decided because my first impression was, oh my god, no. No, absolutely not.
Okay, then.
There we go.
You're back.
Oh, back.
Yeah, maybe.
At least till Chrome decides to boot you again.
So yeah, that was my first impression. I was just kind of like, I don't know if I like this. Okay, so the question I have before we really dive in is Isher.
Mm-hmm.
Did you follow Fear Beer's advice and watch episode 2 before you watched episode 1?
Absolutely not. The reason
in a movie, you just go, yeah, I can watch this in order.
Is that the reason why is I'll generally watch a series in order at least the first time. Even with like Melancholy of Suzuki Harumiya, which is known for it. The entire series is out of place chronologically. The reasoning why is the first episode or 2 is designed to grab you. And so that would determine if I was going to be interested or just kind of watching it to watch it.
I followed Fear Beer's advice and watched episode 2 first. I'm really glad I did because I think I would have started pulling my teeth if I'd have done it the other way.
Oh. I don't know. Like I said, to my mind, Tanya is kind of Schadenfreude personified, or Schadenfreude personified.
English, please.
Schadenfreude is a... The German language is such a beautiful language. You can make up words on the spot. But basically what it means... No, seriously, that's how the language works.
Nein, sprachen Sie Deutsch.
Well, like Krankenwagen is the name of an ambulance, for instance. And I know I'm mispronouncing that. I'm not good at pronouncing foreign languages. Sorry.
We just lost all of that sweet, sweet YouTube money. It's all gone.
That's funny on so many levels. But Schadenfreude is essentially pleasure at somebody else's pain.
Yeah, I can see that.
Saga of Tanya the Evil is not a series you watch because you want the protagonist to succeed. I find it more a case of you want to find out what else happens to her.
Oh yeah, I'd like to know what happens to her. I do kind of want her to fail, though.
She's not a hero. She's the protagonist, but she's certainly not the hero. So it's been case in point. There's one point, I believe it's in episode 3, where she essentially, bitch slaps God, and my first thought is, oh, this is going to work out so well.
Wait, she does what? You're breaking up a little bit.
Where she basically bitch slapped, being X.
Oh, right.
Then also in episode 2, you have the conversation where, there's somebody who essentially stopped time, is speaking through other people and creatures' mouths, and the guy's like, yeah, but I don't really believe in you. And God's sitting there going, well, you don't believe in me. I don't really see a point in reincarnating you because you don't believe in me.
Right.
And he keeps going on, and he's like, well, I have all these things taken care of for me. I'm not, in any kind of straits. And he's like, really? So if I put you in these straits, if you didn't have all these luxuries, you'd have faith in me? And he's like, wait, no, that's not right.
How's that faith thing working out for you, huh?
I do find it interesting, as one of the points I did make in my notes. It seems like being X's point in doing this was to bring more faith.
Well,
I find it interesting that if the world that Tanya is in is actually real, and not just a figment in Tanya's mind or some other trickery, that Tanya being forced to pray is actually a genius stroke.
Oh, yeah.
Not to make Tanya believe, but everybody else around her is starting to believe.
Yeah.
And that's something the reactors I've watched haven't mentioned that. And I find that a rather interesting dynamic.
What's really funny, though, is that being X is now a nutcracker.
Well, it decides to appear as a nutcracker, like in the sky. Dus Vault. Or, yeah. Yeah, I think that's right.
Puts a whole new spin on the term quit. Yeah, never mind. That's not going to come out wrong if I say it no matter what.
I think we lost an Azure again.
Looks like it.
So...
He must be in a bad Wi-Fi spot in his house.
He must be. So yeah, that's my biggest question is why a nutcracker? Like, of all things that you could appear as, why a nutcracker?
I was kind of looking at it more as a metaphor for he likes to break Tanya's balls constantly.
Well, that seems
She
fair.
set herself up for it. And sorry, I disconnected again.
That's
There you go.
You didn't miss anything important.
So what I think it's really hard to compare. So you asked me if I like this one better than the other ones, and it's really hard for me to compare because it's so different.
It's honestly, you can say you like one better than the other, but it's not really an even comparison.
Well, it's not.
It's apples to oranges on everything so far.
But they're both fruits, so they're the same thing, right?
Yes. They both have seeds, right? Same thing. I mean, as far as, like, if I was comparing Gate to Tanya, since they're both military-esque animes. I'm really on the fence about which one I like better. Gate was funny. I was rolling, with laughter at some points. I've not really, I think, cracked up at Tanya. I've sat there perplexed, staring at it sometimes, but...
Oh, I have. So much. Mostly because I, see the different things that Tanya does about to explode right in her face.
Yeah, but she somehow manages to survive.
Well, yes, but it's also a case of she absolutely deserves exactly what she gets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's not a good person.
Oh, no. Not at all.
But I think there are elements of Tanya that I like better than Gate and some of the other animes.
In all honesty, Gate is, kind of a fun romp. It's designed to be silly, fun. Tanya isn't necessarily supposed to be that way, from what I've seen.
True.
No, Gate's more like brain candy. It's like eating a cheesecake. Yay, it's a cheesecake, and you eat a couple of slices, and you're like, yeah, I'm good. Tanya's more of a, oh, what am I watching?
What's that?
What's going to happen to her now?
Yeah.
I think in episode, was it 3, was Dose Vault? I was just sitting there going, oh my goodness, what did she just do? Why can't she just have a little humility? Nope. She's gonna keep shooting her mouth off. Okay.
What I really like is the reason why she carries the gun around, and she's one of the only ones that does. And she told the captain she was so she would always be ready. What she didn't say is so she would always be ready to shoot God. And I'm sitting there going,
that's not gonna work.
Is that gonna work for you?
I mean, he freezes you.
Part of the reason why she carries it.
Well, no, that is why. That is absolutely why.
It's if you're in war, you want that gun, and they're in war.
Yeah, she's used to being in war. So yeah, I would agree that you're both accurate.
But, she even said explicitly she doesn't carry it to be ready, for battle. She carries it so that if the chance presents itself, she can shoot being X. I don't know how she plans to do that. Because
it freezes her.
You're interpreting it.
Sure.
Even in the Japanese, it leaves it very ambiguous.
Yeah.
It doesn't clearly say, I'm carrying this so I can shoot God. It's, I'm carrying it to be ready.
And she goes on to say in her mind that, that if he ever shows up, I can shoot him.
She'll be ready for anything.
And I'm sitting there, and my thought is, you have this being that can stop time.
And freeze you. He freezes her every time he shows up. She is immobile.
Not always. Like with the Nutcracker. She's not always immobile. But it's like a case of you have this being that is so far beyond what you can do. You really think you're going to get a chance to shoot and succeed at shooting God? And here's the other thing. You bitch slap God and he sat you on this rocket. He strapped a bomb to your chest.
Pretty much.
What do you think he's going to do if you try to shoot him? You badmouth him, he sent you to this, world. You bitch slapped him, he strapped basically a bomb on your chest where you have to pray to him. What do you think he's going to do if you try to kill him?
If I was all powerful like he was, I'd probably laugh.
I think he is.
Yeah, but
I've been watching some reactors and they're like, of all the things.
Oh, we lost him again. He fell off the face of the earth.
Flunk. I think that Tanya is doing better than being X expected her to do.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm looking at this from a different angle from both of you two. I am a vet. I've gone over. I've seen the shit. So it's one of those. I understand why she's doing it. I can understand her thought process behind it.
Right. She was in the thick of it. I mean, you don't go anywhere without your gun, do you?
No, not when you're in a battlefield. Not when you're in anywhere that you can possibly get shot. It's
So she didn't think she'd be shot, at the home base. And sorry, I vanished again. Yay!
Yeah, but You're talking to somebody who's gone to war.
Oh, sure.
For the first
You have a
year
different
that I
perspective
came
on it.
home, I had a gun in the house. I had a gun under my pillow. I had a gun on me at all points in time, didn't matter when. I didn't care if it was illegal for me to conceal and carry. I had a gun. Because I was paranoid that someone was going to shoot me. And that was
Sure.
without a god going, "Aye, let me screw with your head."
So I don't know if you caught it or not, but honestly, being X doesn't really mess with her too much. Most of what happens to Tanya is exclusively Tanya's fault. Like, setting up or, telling a general how she thinks, the war's going and what to do about it.
I like that one guy, the dark black-haired guy with the glasses, like, seems to know she's a terrible person. Like, he knows.
Oh, well, he saw her sit there and in a training exercise, slam somebody down and about to rip open his head.
Yeah.
With a bayonet. I
mean, she's a kid.
She, at that point, was 12, I think.
She's still a youngin'.
Oh, yeah, she's still young. But it wasn't the fact that she was young that he had an issue with. It's the fact that she was, sociopathic.
I wouldn't say she's a sociopath.
She cares nothing about anybody but herself. Now,
that's why I said she's not a sociopath. She's more of a psychopath. Sociopaths will mess with the people around her to get what she wants. A psychopath cares not about anybody but self.
Oh no, she manipulates everybody around her.
Right. She shows the signs of being a psychopath, not a sociopath.
So, do we ever find out who Being X is?
I haven't seen yet. And I'm on... I think the last one I watched according to Crunchyroll was 9.
Huh.
Do you know in-universe he's the one that creates or continues the cycle of reincarnation? Except Tanya's not getting another go out?
Nope, she's screwed.
She wasn't going to get this one. Except God X went, "Oh, really? Well, let's see if that'll help."
Yeah, I think he just likes to screw with people.
No, not people, just Tanya. And to be fair, Tanya started it.
Well, I mean, we don't know that.
He'll do it to one, he'll do it to others. I mean,
sure. But it might also, determine what becomes of it. So this might be his trial case. I've also seen a scene that kind of creeped me out involving Being X.
Well, was that in a later episode?
It's in a later episode, so I'm not going to say any more about that.
Okay. So...
I get the feeling you might know which one I'm talking about.
There's been a few scenes where I just scratch my head and I'm like,
Oh no, this wasn't a scratch your head type. This was a, ugh.
And about all the ones that were Being X, I just kind of scratch my head and go, if you just let her screw herself over, she'd do a better job.
Oh, like I said, 90% of what happens to her, she did. It Being X, interferes very little from what I've seen. With the doctor setting up the, quad-core processor, and a couple other very little things later on. Yeah. Other than that, it's all been her.
Yeah.
Nice, comfy, safe assignment in the... What is this?
Technically comfy and safe. You don't mind being blown up.
So it's definitely, I think, the darkest anime that we've seen so far. And I don't just mean, the art itself seems darker. The color choices are darker. It's more, I don't know that I want to say subdued.
It's very gritty.
Yeah. But the theme, the content that is shown is also darker.
Yeah. The art style fits the storyline very well.
It does. I think her eyes freak me out a little bit.
Yeah, but I like that because it shows the duality because everybody else is drawn differently. And then there's Tanya. You know, the over-exaggerated hyper-realism is amusing to me.
Yeah.
Where everybody else is just like, you know, go down the street and pick 10 anime and, oh, well, look, there's somebody that looks like that. There's somebody that looks like that. Tanya, you can pick Tanya out of a screen full of anime characters.
Well, she's probably shorter than everyone else.
Well, I'm just talking, you know, if they just lined all the pictures up.
Right.
You'd be able to be like, okay, there's Tanya. Where, you know, pick a dozen other animes, protagonist or non-protagonist, and you're going to have a hard time.
Right. I don't know. I was just kind of like, this is really dark. I don't know if I like it. This is alright. It's alright. It's not bad. I think if I'd have watched episode 2 second, like it's put in the lineup, I would have had a really hard time getting to episode 3.
That's why I'm like, start with episode 2. It lays everything out for you so you know what's going on, and then go back to episode 1.
Right.
Where a lot of old-time anime watchers, you know, like me, Cody, would, you know, I'd watch it from the beginning all the way through.
I'm a noob. I have a hard time with that.
Time I watched the second episode and went, why put this in the second episode? You should have led with this. Because by the end of the first, if that was the first episode, I would have been like, oh, I have to watch the rest of this now just to find out what happens.
Right.
And instead, I watched the first episode and I'm like, oh, this is really going to be neat. And then I watched the second episode and I'm like, oh, it's going to be one of those anime. Well, watch the next 3 and see what happens.
It's, I don't want to say that it drags. I don't necessarily know that the saga drags so much as I'm just kind of like, I'm not sitting on the edge of my seat going, oh my God, what happens next?
It's very uneven. It's not very balanced. You'll have action, and then it drags, and then it's, you know, goes all the way full out, action again.
Yeah. And I did, like, I think the episode where she sends the 2 guys to the pillbox, assuming that they're going to get blown up. Mm-hmm. I think very clearly, and that was very early on, I think that was a very clear and excellent showcase of where her thought process is and how she handles her problems and people. She has very little regard for people.
Yeah. That's why I said she's a psychopath. But she also holds herself to that same level.
Yeah.
You know, if she thinks she's dead weight, you know, she's going to do something about it. But as she said in episode 2, I make myself valuable, therefore they'll keep me.
Right.
These people that aren't making or carrying their weight or they're not valuable, she doesn't give a crap about.
She did not look to be happy to be saddled with that one girl who popped back up at the end of episode 4.
No, she didn't. But there was 2 reasons for that.
One of which she was wanting to delay everything as possible. And having help is kind of counterproductive for that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Secondly, she thinks the girl is useless.
I don't actually think she's useless so much as...
Not useful.
Yeah.
But it did make her look good, you know, when she, you know, it looked like she cared about her subordinates.
Yeah.
I do like, she was sitting there, you know, making all the complaint, you know, she wants to sleep in a bed, she wants to have a shower, she wants to eat apple pie, even if it's from a can. And then she sees, you know, Tanya's like, oh. And she gets into this and is like, my new assignment's not going to explode, is it? Which, to be fair, I'd say that's a fair question.
Yeah, I probably would have posed that question as well.
Considering you have Tweedledum and Tweedledummer. who sat there and gave her an ultimatum of victory or death. And she was about to cut him down right there.
Yeah. Yeah. When I watch this show, I see two things: a lot of military, because I'm military, so I see that kind of stuff. And two, modern workplace environments.
Well, I mean, Tanya in her previous life, it's one time I can say that, not be figurative or anything,
Right.
was a efficiency manager. It's that the person's role is basically to fire people who aren't being incredibly efficient or efficient enough. That was, May and Tanya's job.
No, yeah. But that stuff exists in this world.
Yeah.
In where I worked at, take Kraft for example. They hired people to figure out where they could, cut the lineman's job so they could maximize the profit for upper management.
Yeah. There's I don't want to say proper, but there's two ways to go about it. Either actually improve the system or decrease the number of people.
Yep.
One of those is a better solution. I've actually taken management, college classes, so.
Oh, yeah. Wait until you get to the success system. I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't work. It's never worked. The only places it works is Europe, that has their businesses are run by government, so it doesn't matter, and Japan.
It works. Just believe me. We'll implement it. It'll work.
Yeah. Every place that has ever implemented it goes, it hasn't been implemented properly. It'll work. No, it won't. You can't.
So I don't know if I know what the success system is.
Incentives. And expect people to stick around.
It's a management model for how you run your company. So
it's got a lot of different names.
So I might know it by a more proper name, but
no, that's what it's called. Like I think there's a Sigma.
The original
system.
one is called the success system. SUE55ES, something like that.
Oh, it's LEAT.
Yeah. The ones I learned in school are actual proper management styles.
That is technically a proper management style.
It's a business model
that will keep workers in production.
Yeah.
Well, in my management classes, they did teach us about the different models, including the ones that weren't as effective, so that you knew what was going on. But you have these other companies in these other countries who are having success using these other business models, and so companies over here, or you'll get a company who comes in and buys an American company and wants to implement this model.
Oh, we lost him again.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll quit talking because you already know what I was going to say.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what it was called at Kraft. It was like Lima 55 or Six Sigma is what Kraft had.
Yeah, see, Sigma is what sounds familiar. I feel like I actually had that in my management books at class.
Yeah, it's a crap system. It's never worked. When he comes back, we can say it's Six Sigma, and that might, he might remember it. But I remember when I was taking business classes, when I was getting out of the military, so I was just taking all kinds of classes, just for, see if I could find something that wasn't going to kill me. They were really pushing it hard. But when I was taking it, it was called success, the success system. Minimization through optimization. And it doesn't work.
Right.
You can't fire 2/3 of your employee workforce, hire a bunch of management to oversee them, expect your employees to do, take up the slack for all of those people, and then take away everybody's benefits. Work goes to crap.
It's like that. There was a story or something I heard, and it was, Japan, the United States, and England every year had an annual race. It was a boat race of some kind, and so you had,
Right,
and they
the
could
yacht
use
race.
do what?
The yacht race.
Well, it was not a yacht. They were like rowing. They were rowing, so there were people with oars and stuff.
I know they have a yacht race every year.
No, this is a hypothetical. So
Uh-huh.
they were rowing. And so the managers didn't row. So you could tell who the management was because they would be sitting at the head of the boat talking to the rowers, and the rowers were the employees. And so, like, the first year, America lost. And in order to solve the problem, they hired more management. They fired employees and they hired more management. And so the next year they lost worse because they had less rowers. And so to solve the problem, they fired all of the employees save one, hired all of this upper and middle management. And so then when the next race came around, you had one person rowing that boat and everybody else was arguing about how that one person should row the boat.
Yep. That's pretty much how that system works. And literally, when I left Draft, um, the place that I was working at was supposed to have 24 people working. We had 7.
Yeah.
And then they were complaining because our quality went to crap. Oh, like, what do you want? There's 7 of us doing 20-some people's work, and you won't let us have more people. But you gave us more management who don't know what they're doing, and we had a safety manager who wanted us to stick our hands in moving equipment.
That's a big fuck you right there.
Oh yeah, he threatened to fire me because I wouldn't put my hand in a powered impeller.
I think I might have called his bluff on that one.
I did. And
Go on.
he did drag me to HR.
Did you mention OSHA?
No, but they backed off real quick when they checked my background.
I like the story about when HR got mad at you for overtime. That one's my favorite.
Which time?
I said I've had jobs, threaten to fire for overtime.
Oh yeah. When I was working at Casey's, that happened all the time. I was working, 70, 80 hours a week, and management came down. No more overtime for anybody.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
when you're working 80 hours overtime, it's a bit, different.
Yeah, well, that was because my manager would give people a day off and not have anybody. And because I couldn't say no because my bills were so high, he would call me up. There was times that I worked 20 hours a day. I worked 7 days a week. I think I got the job at Kraft because one of the guys came in and saw me in the morning and at night and got me the job so I could have some downtime.
Yeah. So for all the driving I do for my job, it is nice, that my manager understands the idea of not working 80 hours a week every week.
Oh, that was normal. I think the week they got him in trouble, I got 115 hours.
I don't think my manager understands that I don't understand how to not work 80 hours a week.
Well,
Yeah, we keep telling you.
I said, when I say that, I've been threatened to be fired for overtime, I'm not talking 40, 80 hours of overtime. I'm talking 1.
Yeah. There was a girl at my job that got fired because she had 37 and a half hours. Because that was right after they had passed you have to have insurance if you have full time. You have to offer it.
And full time is now 32 hours.
Actually, it's 28 hours now.
It's
They keep
defined by
lowering it down.
company, and there are ways around that. Quite honestly, there's ways companies can get around that requirement.
Who is bubbling? I hear bubbles.
And you probably hear my phone as I'm trying to, get Hangouts on my phone, and I have to update it, so I have to delete things.
Oh. I was like, somebody is dripping.
I am not dripping. I have not gotten that advanced in my vape yet.
No.
nor do I think I will be, because then I will be going through 120 mil in a day. I've seen those drippers. They go through juice like crazy.
Oh, somebody called in at work.
Or is that Sugar?
That's Sugar. That's my kitty co-star.
Oh yeah. You still here, Cody?
Yeah, for now.
Okay.
But you can't hear me.
Might know under the name of Six Sigma.
Okay, it doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, when you run across it, they'll say that's the best thing since sliced bread. Ever.
But I like sliced bread.
Oh.
Anyway, so did anyone else have any other thoughts or comments about the anime?
It's an anime that reminded me a lot of things, one of which being one of my favorite pseudo lines from Persona 5. Yeah, it was in the first episode when Tanya went diving and attacked that one guy, and I was like, yeah, nice face you got there. Shame if something were to happen to it.
I've never seen that.
Persona 5?
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun game. It is in line with the other Personas.
Oh, we lost him again.
Oh, there he goes. Well, I'm gonna say goodbye, and we can just chatter. But
Yeah, probably, because we're just kind of...
we are no longer talking about the anime, so we're gonna finish the rest of the Saga of Tanya the Evil. I got it right that time, and we will probably not next week since I'll be out of town, but the week after, we will finish talking about it. So I hope you all have a great day.
Bye!
Time for coffee.